Hi, welcome to the StrongKnits podcast. My name is Trish and I'm coming to you from southern Germany. This is a podcast about knitting, crochet, and other general craftiness. I have several things to talk about today. Unfortunately, a lot of the things that I've recently made were gifts or commissions, and so they were with their recipients and I do not have them. Most of them I have a picture for, but some of them I do not. Up first is FOs, also known as finished objects. My first finished object is Vaka by ffrench. That is one that was given to somebody, so I don't have it here. I use Burrow Vintage, which is a 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. I use Tangerine, which is a bright orange, and black for the outline, or for the border. I knit that using US size 7 or 4.5 millimeter. I apologize for looking down. I have my notes posted right here, so that's what I keep looking at. Next, I completed a Sandworm by Brittany James. It is crocheted. And that is also with the recipient, same person who got the Vaka. I did that on a 3.5 and a 4 millimeter hook, and I used Rico Design Basic Soft Acryl DK in a white, a black, yellow, a dark red, and a dark green. The Sandworm is from Beetlejuice, and she wanted to have one because that is one of her favorite movies. Next finished object, I actually made two of them. They're tiny little baby hats. The pattern was Nahia, Nahia, by Belen Fernandez. I don't remember which needles I used or which yarn I used. Somebody at work requested it because their baby was due, and I knocked them out in a week or so, and I forgot to take down notes, but they were really appreciative of having the baby hats. Next finished object is Zweig by Caitlin Hunter. Again, I don't have that with me because the recipient already has it, but I used Wollmeise Pure, which is 100% wool, in the Frisch colorway. Translated, that is cheeky or sassy. And I also used Hue Loco Phyllis Sock, which is a 75-25 in the colorway 3D Glasses. So I have one of these left over. So this is the main color. Here's the label. It's a very bright pink. And I also have what's left over of the 3D glasses. I was worried because it was kind of the first time that I've knit for somebody else, something like that. But when I gave it to her, she went and tried it on and it fit perfectly, and she's very happy with the results. So that made me happy because I was worried for a while. But to get her measurements, I had her lay out one of her favorite sweaters or a shirt that she wanted it to kind of match and just give me the measurements, and I was able to work it off of that. The next project that I have, or finished object that I have, is Yule Graham by Andi Sutterland. I do have that one. This one I knit up to be my Christmas sweater. And I knit this out of Cascade 220 Superwash in the color 208, which is a kind of a dark green. So it's not perfect. It took me a week to knit it, but it is a little too big for me because I was worried that the yarn was smaller than what was called for, so I went up a size. But I think I would have been fine knitting this size for myself. So there's a little bit of, and it's hard to get it to sit right with a t-shirt under here. And it's cropped. But I plan on wearing this for Christmas. Still trying to decide if I would like to add some decorations. I'm trying to find some little pom-poms, but every store I check doesn't have any, and now with the COVID situation, going into a store in Germany, or at least in Bavaria, you have to show proof of vaccination and your ID card, and a lot of stores only allow a small amount of people to go in, so just going in, just not worth it. So I might just leave it blank. I do have some, excuse me while I go out of frame, I do have some of these little presents that I'm thinking about attaching under the tree, and maybe getting some of those fairy lights that everybody likes and stringing it through the tree, and maybe just do that. But I haven't fully decided yet. My work is having an ugly Christmas sweater competition on the 16th, so I still have a few days to decide what I want to do. My next finished project, again, I don't have. It was for a little boy. Actually, the next 4 were all knit in the same yarn, different colorways, and everything went to him, so I don't have anything. But I did the Garted edge pant and bonnet set. I just knit the pants. But it was modified to fit a teddy bear, because he has an old bear that he got when he was 1 or 2 years old, and he is 8 or 9 now, and the bear has seen better days. And so I fixed her up, had to sew her up a little bit, gave her a few baths because she was pretty dirty, and then he wanted clothes to help try to protect her a little bit. So I knit her pants, a sweater, and a hat. The sweater is the Lima by Taiga Hilliard. The hat was the Honey Hat by Amanda Berry, and he also wanted a hat knit for himself, which I also put ears on, that would match. And I used the Be Loving pattern by Melissa Simpson. And the yarn that I used was Cedar Country Classic Worsted. And this is a 50% acrylic, 50% wool. So the hat was in this purple, which is royal purple. The pants were black, and the sweater was a hot pink. And then he wanted to have both hats to have his initials on it, so I duplicate stitched his initials onto the hats. For the one for the bear, there wasn't a lot of room, so it was kind of hard to get everything to fit in there. But for his, since it was a little bit bigger, he's a huge fan of Minecraft, so I looked up the Minecraft font and used that, which luckily that's blocky, so it works with knitting. Used that as the font for his initials on his hat. And then as I was finishing up, his dad also contacted me and asked for the same thing, so I had to reorder yarn, and I'm waiting for that to come in so I can hurry up and knit him a hat too. Next finished object is the autumn socks. There's no pattern. I was knitting this for a knit along, but I just fell out of the knit along, and I think I only did 2 or 3 of the months. It was supposed to be an every month thing, so whatever. No pattern again. I just used some leftover because I used the orange yarn in a previous pattern for a hat that I knit somebody before, and I wanted to use up the leftovers. I was going to do blue in every single sock that I did in that knit along, just so they would all match and you would see that they kind of went together, but I just didn't keep up with that. The orange is Madeline Tosh Pashmina in the color Saffron, and this blue is a Cascade Heritage in a light blue. I don't remember what the gray is, but I wanted to use up some of it, and I do have two. And I still have some orange of yarn left, and some of the gray, so I might make like matching mitts or something, I'm not sure. I just finished these this week, so I haven't had a chance to weave in my ends. I was lucky enough to be able to do a virtual class for work, and so I've been sitting at home all week and I got a lot of knitting done. That's what I finished. I think I was here at the beginning of the week, and I did these 2 at a time. I also finished the Musselburgh hat by Ysolda Teage. I used Malabrigo Rios. I don't remember the colorway, but I love how it knit up. I wish I could remember it because I want more of that. And then the other color, because usually you just knit all the way through with one, but I decided to do 2 different colors. And I knit it a little bit too short because you can't fold it up, which is what I was kind of hoping that you could do, but then it just ends up being too small, because I was hoping for like that look, or like that, because I thought that would be cute. The purple is Rove Yarn Co. Catherine DK, which is a superwash merino, and Larkspur. And I've used her yarn before. I've actually used that DK to make mittens in the past. But here's one side. And I think it will be nice and warm, which is good because it's been snowing quite lately, and the wind here is pretty ridiculous, and every other hat the wind just goes through it, so I'm hoping that this helps block it a little bit more. Here's the other side. And I think this will go well with my Snuggle is Real cowl, because that's nice and warm because it has 2 layers as well. Let's see. Next I have 2 hose. One is the linen socks, again no pattern. I used a US size 0, which is 2 millimeters, in Shibui Knits Reed, which is 100% linen. There we go. I'm knitting these for my mom. It took a long time to knit these. 1, because US size 0. 2, because the yarn is pretty thin and it is difficult to work with. There's not a lot of give. So this probably took me, I don't even know. I spaced it out a lot, so it took me a long time. And she wanted a linen pair of socks, and she wanted a wool pair of socks. So this is my second hoe, which I'm just calling wool socks, again no pattern. And I was able to use US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter with this, and this is Malabrigo sock in the color Polar Moon, and I knit this in 2 days. Again, both courtesy to being able to sit at home during a virtual class and knit all day long. So now I just need to do the their matching sets. I already cast on the other one for that. I started that one today during the class. I got to the heel, so I had to stop. And of course, I can't sit there and focus on the heel while doing the class. Next up, I have whips, or work in progress. I have the Fraternal socks, which is no pattern. Sorry, my yarn's getting caught on stuff. There we go. And I am knitting these 2 at a time. And these are on US size 1, which is a 2.25 millimeter. Sorry, just trying to get the needles a little bit organized. There we go. So the yarn matches. I am using the Shirley Bryan Deconstructed Fade sock set in the Jurassic color. I'm just gonna pull one of these off. These are sitting, since they're 2 at a time, they're sitting on this so that they move easily. So if I take one off, here's the green one, and if you look in the center, it matches that, and it's the opposite way on the other one. I'm trying to decide if I want to just keep knitting and then do an afterthought heel with the last, what, 15, 20 grams, or I just heard about a newish heel, new to me heel, called the Shadow Wrapped heel, which looks interesting, but I'm worried that it would look the way I want it to on one sock and not on the other, because the other yarn is about to fade into the other color while the green still has plenty to go, and I'm just not sure how that heel is going to look. So trying to make that decision. I still have a ways to go. I still have, oh, let's see, probably another inch and a half to go on the foot before I have to make a decision on that. The next whip is called Mirkwood by Kalurah Hudson. This will be a scarf with a hood attached to it. I just started it. It's something I've been wanting to knit for a while. And I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks Big O, which is a 50/50 superwash merino nylon in cobblestone heather. And I'm using US size 10, which is a 6 millimeter. I like the fabric that I'm getting, but it's kind of difficult to knit on. I don't know if it's the yarn, the needles, the size of the needles. And the fabric is a little bit tight, especially in the cables here, which I feel like every other time I get mixed up because, I don't know, I'm not reading properly or something. But it looks nice and it feels nice. So I'm hoping that I have enough, and I'm hoping that I don't get burnt out. I have 7 more repeats of this, I think. That's 1 full repeat plus a little bit. So I have a ways to go. The next whip that I have is Baby Creature. I don't remember the designer. The pattern's not available anymore. She posted it, and after a few weeks, because it went kind of viral, Disney came down and told her to delete it. But I was able to get a hold of it before she did that. He's not done, and he's missing a leg and arms. But here's what I have so far. I'm doing this for a coworker. And I did mess up, because you're supposed to put the eyes on, and it was supposed to go either here or here, and I put it there. But they're anchored in, and I don't want to waste the eyes. Yeah, so he's going to be a little bit different. But he's cute. And I added a few rows to his body, and I'm going to add, I added 3 to his body and 2 to his leg. My coworker that I'm knitting or crocheting this for is a very tall person, and he wanted his to be a little bit taller than the other 2 that I crocheted for my other coworkers. So all I have to do is finish up this leg, do the feet, arms, ears, and then I have to make his clothes. I've also been working on my mema a little bit, but I didn't bring it out because there's not a lot to show from the last time. Same with the broadleaf. I'm hoping to make some good progress on both of those over the winter time holiday season. Work is usually slowed down a little bit, and there are 2 3-day weekends, so I should be able to get a few more hours than usual, and especially since I was able to knock so much out during this week with that class, which helped out a lot. Trying to think if there's anything else. No, I don't think there is. I'm trying to come up with other projects that I want to do in the future. I have like 3 or 4 sweaters that I want to cast on, but I think I should finish up at least one of the 2 that I have going right now. But other than that, there's nothing going on. Hope you guys have a good holiday season, and that you guys can stay positive and don't allow SAD, seasonal affect disorder, bring you down or anything like that. And I hope that all your family time isn't too hectic and you have some time to relax and enjoy yourself and enjoy your knitting. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.